selling for cities that
Right.
improve their water. Yeah. And they get a good fee for it.
Right.
And people like to buy them from, and you got tax benefits there that you don't have high installed.
Well, another question I like that, what's gonna happen when basically the Federal Reserve puts having these bond auctions every month? Then the interest rates are gonna go up and the bonds are gonna go south. And what's gonna happen then to the bonds?
I can't tell you, and I don't know anybody else that could.
Ray, another
They
question.
tell you anything for sure, because
On this 2.5 mil, what kind of money is it, how much money will it generate?
a meal,
No, the 2.5, I think we're going up 2.5.
well, a meal's worth, around $270,000.
So we're looking at about 700,000,
Sir?
about 700,000 all total.
2.5 mil to bring it about 600.
Yeah.
And we got how much in delinquent taxes? How much do we have in delinquent property taxes?
Over $1 million.
No, sir, we don't either.
What was that, Stephen?
I think it was 500 and some odd thousand the last I ran.
What we got next is floss we can spend on this property. Right,
You want that?
so what we got next is floss we can spend on this property.
I don't want to talk about that.
I'd like to ask Mr. Ray,
That's the,
I'd like to ask Mr. Chairman. How much we got next is floss we can spend on this, this plan?
What? How much?
Mr. Chairman, answer that, please.
That's why we got Mr. Cleveland right here.
Mr. Cleveland ain't from Jeff Davis County, and he ain't employed by Jeff Davis County.
He works with us as an advisor, and that's what he's here for.
We
You
paid him.
signed the checks, right? You signed the
Yeah,
check.
you signed a check around
Yeah,
here.
you right about that?
Mr.
You made that
Cleveland,
well known,
you
you signed
employed-
that check.
Unfortunately,
Are you employed with Jeff Davis County?
go ahead.
No,
Thank you.
not hired, I can go up here for that.
You come up here for free, didn't you?
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
To answer your question, you can't use spot money to build that plant.
Excuse me. There's three things you can do with excess floss.
Yeah.
You can pay old debt, you can quit collecting it, and you can reduce taxes.
You can use it to reduce taxes.
Well, y'all trying to increase taxes, you're not trying to reduce taxes.
What is this year's proposed budget compared to last year's, the dollar value? Has it increased, is it the same?
Spot money is designated for capital projects, roads, building, renovation, equipment, things like that.
You are correct, and I will reiterate. We voted in 2005, March 2005, we voted for $11 million worth of estimate, I'm gonna estimate $11 million. I said it more times than one. We collected that $11 million in 5 years, but we kept collecting that sales tax, that extra percent, for 6 years. That extra year generated $1,022,000 according to the financial report that just came out for 2012. Our fiscal year ended June the 30th, 2012. We have $1 million worth of excess floss. That excess floss is after all those capital improvements that you're talking about is supposed to be finished, 100% completed. So why can't we use that excess floss?
There's not a million and $200,000 left, like $700,000, I think.
There's a good chunk.
Yeah, pretty good job there.
Some of that was used to extend some little project, whether it's safety, radio tower out there, maybe a truck or two, and anyway, you can use it to extend one of those projects. You can use it to retire old people. You can use it, put it in a general fund and to offset the tax.
Zach,
That's what I
That's
want
what
you
we're
to
talking
say
about.
right there.
that's what we're talking about, taxes.
And some some was put in there last year to offset the tax.
How much is the
Some
budget?
put 300,000.
Is the proposed budget gonna be more than one bill? That's what we did.
Let's one talk at a time, please.
Well, so that money will be used to offset tax.
Are we going to completely buy that budget, or does just the department needs money, we come up here and write a check? Because if we stick by that budget right there, and I looked at the 2013's budget, proposed budget, and looked at what was actually spent, there were some departments that came under budget,
Yeah.
under budget.
And it's always that way.
And we can talk about the development, I'm gonna take up for development authority right here, because I've been on their back. But I looked at that budget there today with a gentleman, and he brought something to my attention. The development authority was supposed to get $375,000, I think, last year. I don't have mine with me. I actually gave him mine. But they only got 60-something thousand out of the budget. Now, let me correct for the audience here. The development authority received $1 million out of our sales tax splosh every 6 years. When we voted in, they got $1 million out of the splosh money. Am I right or wrong? Okay. So, my opinion, whoever's writing checks up here is not going by that budget right there. I understand there's unexpected expense with a tractor motor grader, having a transmission repair, having this or having that, but I would hope that y'all would include a little extra in the departments for these unexpected expenses.
What you're talking about, that $1 million, they got their $1 million, but they got it over 5 years.
That's right.
The last year they didn't get it. All they got was 6-some thousand, and what they were allocated to operate, salary, and
Well, now, they also have other income from these different businesses that they help. Their only income is not from us, the taxpayers. And I wanted to reiterate on the sales tax on automobiles, yes, the state is not collecting 8% on our vehicles that Jeff Davis County citizens buy. They're collecting 6.5%. But, that is a decrease, but the statistics are, the state was supposed to generate more money because people that was individual sales, if I sold you an individual from Ronda Walsh to Mike Cleveland, you didn't have to pay sales tax. Today, you have to pay sales tax on the fair market value of that vehicle, which most of the time, on that vehicle is cheaper than what you bought it for.
It may be, hopefully it is, not
It
you're
is.
right.
Every one that I have sold since January 1 has been cheaper.
But most things, you see the state didn't do it. It's in bad shape to start with, when they get through with it, it works.
Well, the other thing of it is I've been in enough of those meetings, that 6.5% is gonna go up. It's gonna go up.
I'm sure it will.
All right, but you in business, let's say you wasn't in business, say I sold one to one,
You still got
okay? And if I tell her it's $2,000, all right, then if I don't add the taxes to it right then, how does the
You
state?
don't collect sales tax.
Or who
You're
does?
an individual. Our tax
When
they go-
commissioner, that's
when you go
added
by
to our
tax.
tax
Go by
commissioner.
tax.
That is a job and it's added to Susie's office. She
She
has
collects
to
it,
collect that
then
money, and she has to distribute that money, that's another job, that just, she had to take on January 1.
She sends it into the state.
Some of it has to go back to the state, correct me if I'm wrong, Susie, the percentage stays here and the percentage goes to the state.
Right, we give y'all some, the school some, and the state.
On the
But
2012
that
budget,
vehicle, you sell it, so you pay $2,000 for it, so you don't make $2,000. The vehicle's worth $10,000, you're gonna be paying taxes on $10,000, not $2,000, right, Susan?
Right.
Going what the
Or
state,
value.
the state fair market value. If you go out and buy your $25,000 vehicle, and you pay too much for it, and the state says it's only worth $15,000, you're gonna be taxed on $15,000.
Right.
And the other thing that I would reiterate for Susie's office is even me as a dealer, I used to mail my sales tax into the state once a month, the following month. I had till the 20th of the following month to send in my sales tax. Now, I have to submit that sales tax within so many days of after the sale is made, and that sales tax has to go to that county that car is being titled in. I don't send it to the state anymore. So Susie's office is handling a lot more transactions.
But you still sending the state the same percentage, I guess, for a year ago, is that right, too?
No, so we're sending, it's, 57% of that 6.5%.
What would it have been a year ago?
We didn't do sales tax here. We didn't do sales
See, the
tax.
state collected,
We
they
collected.
and you don't have.
We collected out of state if you bought from out of state.
But then you're winding up doing what the state used to do as far as handling it, billing it, collecting it.
The dealer, like Woody's, he don't collect sales tax anymore. He collects the TABT tax.
Yeah. We still call it sales tax, but it's actually DAB tax.
How much was the budget raised from last year to this year?
Around close to $8 million, I think, here.
Not really, the difference.
What?
Total, but
I'm talking about what was last year's budget compared to this year, how much difference?
you got it figured, Mike.
Well,
Well, man, Georgia,
Budget this year is $8,141,000.
Last year, $6 million, $8 million. 7, 8 last year, and 8.
7, 8, and 8, 1.
$400,000.
But now, a lot of that has to do with these money that is going to develop, so grant money, that's it.
How much it went to the golf course?
What's that?
Not quite that much.
It was last year.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like you to ask a question for me. I noticed on the ledger this week, I had a big old picture of this pellet fuel and all out there. Is our tax money paid for, what we've done out there so far as the land purchase and dirt work and, the equipment that's already on site? Is our tax money done paid for that, or who's paid for it?
All we bought out there is the land development authority bought the property.
So who's paying for all that out there then?
I don't have a crown yet.
Do we own the land?
We own the land there.
And you don't know who's paying for what's on our land out there?
I don't know who's paying for what they're doing. It's gonna be part of that bond here and some of the grants. They've only received one grant.
Tommy says we received 3 in the paper this week.
I think they've actually received 1.
So Tommy's wrong.
Total of 3. But I think they've actually received 1.
Well, Tommy wouldn't publish my letter this week because
Tommy.
he didn't know the facts of it, but apparently he knows the facts of this, and I did my homework last night, and 2 of these grants is already on the website.
Well, they might have got
The
the $951,501 is on the website, and the $239,440 is on the website, state of Georgia. The $470,000, I could not find it. But now in the paper, it says all 3 has been approved, and if that's the case, I've been to enough of these meetings. The $950-something was supposed to be at the railroad. The $100-something thousand, one of them was supposed to put in the diesel line. Actually, I tell you what, I was at the March 12th meeting. And then, can't read my notes. But, the diesel line, $106,000. Cost per the engineers was $106,000 to put in one diesel line. And to widen the road. Y'all said y'all was gonna try to do that, the county was, just save money.
That's the dirt work. We're gonna do the dirt work, but not, paving or anything.
I'm for saving money, but I don't think that we, the taxpayers, ought to have to foot that bill when we get free grant money. And yes, I made 2 visits to the Development Authority's office this week. That money is free, it does not have to be repaid. $1.6 million.
But then, which one's going on the railroad?
I can't tell you which one. I understood from that meeting I was in here with, the 951,000 goes on the railroad.
Did they tell in the meeting you were in how much the railroad spur was costing?
No. Now, this was not a railroad spur, this was the trust,
Okay, but the
did all that.
sign and
Mr. Ryan with Heartland was here. I didn't get Walter, I think it's his last name, Ryan? That's who was here. Now, I've done a little bit of digging, and I don't know if everybody wants to hear my little spiel right here, but I did a little bit of digging about, industrial tax revenue bonds. And after doing my research, I had 2 pages of notes. And I politely went down to the Development Authority to ask questions because, believe it or not, Rhonda got a little excited about the project. Because the way I understood it is that this bond company was gonna sell the bonds to finance this project. They were gonna get investors, people that's got money, to invest in this project. There's 2 different types of this, a taxable and a non-taxable. If it was non-taxable, the investors would not have to pay a federal income tax on the interest that they receive back at loaning their money. Okay? I also understood that it did have to go through the county government like you're talking about. The reason for that being is that there would be no property taxes, no equipment taxes, no inventory taxes, and when the materials was purchased to build these buildings and facility, that there will be no sales tax collected on the materials. I also found out in my research that the bond company, the lawyer, charges a percentage, and that percentage is anywhere from 2 to 4% of $91 million. So somebody's gonna make some money. That's why Mr. Dan McCray spoke here. Y'all have a good project here. I'm sure we do, because he's gonna make a minimum of 2% of $91 million. That's what, 1.8 million that he's gonna get in his pocket? Yeah, it looks good to me, it looks good to me too. But also,
1.82 million.
the lawyer's gonna make that kind of money. The bank, we had 3 banks here. Now, me personally, I don't think every one of them 3 banks can do a $91 million bond. But whichever bank writes a letter of credit, this company has to be creditworthy enough that a bank somewhere writes a letter of credit for this $91 million. That bank is gonna collect a 0.5% to 1.5% to write the letter. Okay? So there's a lot of money out there that's gonna be spent before there's even any equipment put on the ground. But I think the county has got their cart ahead of their horse by going ahead and spending $947, and yet the property is owned by the Jeff Davis County Development Authority, called November 7th, 2012, for $947,000. There's a loan, a 6-month loan, that was due May 1st at Heritage Bank, and we have not paid it off. We're paying interest monthly on it. Am I right or wrong?
What was that land worth when it was purchased?
The land was valued on the tax assessor's website at $211,000 for 185, 189 acres. But we paid $947,000 for it.
So they stuck it to them on.
On the Jeff Davis County Tax, I got it in here, on the Jeff Davis County Tax Assessor's website, QFODA, it is valued at $211,000 for 189.5 acres. And we paid $947,000 to Mr. Cecil Morris, I believe was the name. So we stuck our neck, the county stuck our neck out. And I'm not saying this pellet plant ain't a good project. It could be one of the best things that ever happened to Jeff Davis County. But I think that the county and the Development Authority needs to hold up. I went down and asked these questions right here. Just simple questions. How long is the term to Hazelhurst Wood Pellets or Fram? One paper you read, it's Fram. The other paper you read, it's Hazelhurst Wood Pellets. And I promise you, the Secretary of State's website, it is 2 different LLCs. What is the terms of the revenue bond? Is the bond gonna be for 30 years? Is the lease to Hazelhurst Wood Pellets gonna be 10, 20, 30 years? Is all the shareholders of this, LLC gonna sign a personal guarantee to the county? Why are the books closed? Why is the county gonna hold the title to this property? It plainly states the county will hold the title to this property. Why not the bond company? They're the ones that's got all this out. Nobody can answer my questions, and y'all telling me that we go and spend $1 million, you wanna look at it any way you want to, we spend $1 million of our Jeff Davis County money that has been spent, and we don't even know the terms of the lease to this company. I'm telling y'all, Wanderwalks don't do business like that.
We don't even know who's working out there.
And I might not have a college education, that was through up to me. Did I really think that those people that sit around that table that makes these decisions, did I think that they would put Jeff Davis County in jeopardy? No, I don't. I don't, not intentionally. But do I think that a person like this man, Dan McCray, I don't know if he walked in the door, but do I think that somebody from higher up can come down here and paint our county a pretty picture and tell us what we want to hear and say, sign here, and somebody sign it? Yes, I do believe that can happen, because it's already happened. I asked about those bonds too. Jeff Davis County right now is paying back a bond that was issued January 2004 to Bruce Davis for a sweater factory that came here. It was $1.7 million. As of June 30th, 2012, Jeff Davis County owes $1.4 million. Not Bruce Davis, but Jeff Davis County owes $1.3 million, and we're paying $220,000 a year on it. And I do not, $91 million will shut our doors. We can all pack up and find us somewhere else to go.
We'll be just like Detroit.
Now, I'm telling you, I've done the research, and everything I see says that Jeff Davis County will not be responsible. But there's something, I'm like whoever said it back here behind me, there's something in this package that somebody's not telling us all about. And we got to do our homework, whether it's Rhonda Walsh, or whether it's Ray Wooten, or Mike Cleveland, whoever's going to look at the best interest of our county, and the taxpayers have got to do the homework before we put ourselves in the ground. And that has not happened in this project. Has not.
I have a question. What is Fram putting up front? We know that the county purchased the land at almost $1 million. What does Fram put up financially up front? We know that we're selling the bonds to pay for the project, but what do they have financially, hard capital on this project today?
Let me say this. The man said right where Miss Wanda was sitting Tuesday,
Monday morning, y'all had a
Monday
meeting.
morning. He said that Jeff Davis County would not be responsible for the bonds whatsoever. The bond company that sold them, and that's what I was told. Tommy Purser asked him personally, would the county be held, and I was going by the sweater factory where we worked, and he said, no, we would not be.
But it's not the first time a bonding company told a lie.
That's probably but where I'm going there with it is that I can't answer these questions, but I think that we need the development authority and the man that wrote Dan McCray.
Well, let's have another meeting.
That's where I'm going there.
What about the public involved?
Yeah, I mean, y'all ask, because I don't know all the questions you want to ask me. And me personally, just one person up here. But I think that Dan McCray and the Development Authority, and I mean, I don't go to their meetings, I don't know what they've done or whatever. But the main thing is that Jeff Davis County should never let a company come in. Mr. Mike, you told me yourself that y'all always get a personal signature that they respond.
Not on the bond.
Well, not a bond issue, but if somebody's coming in and they buy land from the Development Authority, personal guarantee.
I got one more thing I want to say, and I'm gonna close. On this here, I understood that out of this bond money, everything that I've seen, there's a maximum amount of $40 million And that limit is set by the United States. How are they gonna get 91 million if the limit is 40 million? The other thing that I found was that a percentage of this money that they get has to be spent, like 75% has to be spent on the core manufacturing purposes. Only 25% or less can be spent on warehouses, offices, or loading docks. 25% or less can be spent on acquiring the land. And this is the problem that I got. I asked, this is the only question that I got answered, was, if the company gets this $91 million worth of bonds, are they gonna give us enough money, or is the county's gonna get the money first before it's given out? Are they gonna take that money and pay off this $947,000? I was told no. And I don't understand that. I was given the reason that this $947,000 piece of land is tied up with these grants that's right here. Well, folks, I believe that's wrong. I may be wrong, but the research that I found is that this is free money. We're not having to give any clout. All we're having to do is say that we are using it to put this infrastructure into the pellet plant. And how can they get bonds on a $91 million project? And the bond company, just say they go belly up. Lord forbid, I hope they don't. Just say they do. Who's on the land? Heritage Bank or the bond company? Well, they got a bunch of equipment on this piece of property. That's like building a house and only giving the mortgage company the house, not giving them the land.
It's the taxpayer.
Well, we're gonna lose it. We're gonna lose it, in the bond issue. They can't do that. I don't think that's legal. I really don't.
Excuse me, you said that on the website or wherever you got your information, 40 million is the most that can be borrowed or bond company can issue.
For one project.
For one project, for one project.
Okay. You talked that you got these questions, you answered it. I mean, who were you talking to?
I was talking to Keith Carter. And I was told that I was fishing, and I was also told, I told him, I said, well, if you let me in that meeting Monday morning, I could ask them these questions. I said, I had just as much right in that meeting as Tommy Purcell did. Okay?
Not all of us have done.
I understand, it would have been a public meeting and y'all would have had to advertise it. See, that's the problem, Wanda. Y'all don't want the public here. So we ain't gonna have more than 3 commissioners here. And the other thing of it is, now then I'll come find concentration. I was told by Mr. Keith Carter, I would love for that bond man to come down here, the bond lawyer you're talking about, but not at the county, expense of Jeff Davis County. And I'm not gonna pay him, and I was told that as long as I pay him, he come down here and talk to me. And I don't think that's right. I think as a citizen of Jeff Davis County, I ought to have to pay him.
So you're saying the public can't talk to the bond?
That was gonna be my question. Has he been in any of the public meetings?
No, he missed a big.
No. He's only here Monday morning that I know of.
Jerry, you were here when the peanut mill got started. How much did the development already have with the peanut mill?
It's not roughly like that, and I can tell you something else about that. I won't get into that. One of the biggest helps was supposed to be that they was going to purchase equipment tax-free for us, and guess what? When it was time to pay it off and get title, we paid every dollar that they'd saved us. So I don't see where that is related to this other issue we're talking about.
But we have.
Yeah, they
It's not
have.
just this.
They help buy the land and finance it for us. They help out with it. Also that. The equipment we bought through the Joint Development Authority to save on taxes, and then we had to pay them anyway. They didn't help there, but they did help on the land.
We should just get on the gate code.
What no gate code on it.
Gate cards every day. I didn't know you could put an ATV on a gate card though.
We won't let him have that. He would come back. Told him. Explain it. They said, did I not, did you hear that? Yeah, I think, that's right on the word. Well, I do, you said, well, you got it, it's yours. I'm about 99% sure. He told us the other day, and when he got to talk to Tommy and explaining to him, that he would come back and explain it and tell.
And obviously,
There wasn't no way we could get by with, instead of raising 2.5 mils, just raising 1.5 for one. There wasn't no way we could get by.
I understand y'all pay bills, but I don't think they pay.
I wish there was, if we gonna still look at that thing, we run it out of time on what we can do. But I'm just like the rest of it, it ain't my call, it's just, it's a shame with it.
Well, when I left there, the budget